Good evening. I am John Eden, President of the Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative Board of Trustees. We would like to begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As President of the Board of Trustees, I call the 86th meeting of Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative to order. I would like to mention a few things for everyone watching live. Questions can be asked in the chat function, but please know that we cannot respond to questions pertaining to individual members' service, bills, or accounts. We will, however, follow up the best we can with those after the meeting. Submitted questions will be addressed following the President and General Manager reports as time allows. I will now call upon Justice Clifford, Director of Communications, to deliver tonight's invocation.
Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us all to be gathered here today, whether virtually, on the phone, or in person. Please teach us the importance of rationing our time so that we may do the really important things in life. Remind us of the reality of time so that we will spend our time wisely. Show us that time is relentless so that each moment is precious and never to be squandered. Enable us to learn the restraints of time and not to procrastinate and to do our duty. Grant us the wisdom to use our time with care and the skills we gather day in and day out. In your name we pray. Amen.
Brenda Wolf, Secretary of the Cooperative, will now submit proof of notice of the meeting.
Good evening. I present the following. First, a copy of the notice of the meeting stating the time, place, and purpose of the meeting. Next, an affidavit executed by Jeff McAllister, Managing Editor for Ohio's Electric Cooperative, showing the copy of the notice of the meeting to each member of the cooperative that is dated June 28, 2022. In the annual report released in the July Ohio Cooperative Living magazine pages, you received a copy of the minutes of the 2021 annual meeting of the members to be considered for your approval. Thank you.
The Secretary is directed to incorporate the copy of the notice of the meeting together with the affidavit of mailing of the notice in the minute book of the cooperative. Our registration totals show 681 members registered. According to the Code of Regulations of the cooperative, the members attending this duly called meeting constitutes a quorum. Consequently, I now declare this annual meeting of the members of Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative Incorporated lawfully and properly convened and ready to proceed for the transaction of business. It has become customary to waive the reading of the notice of the meeting and the minutes of the last meeting of members of the cooperative. We will now ask for a motion, second, and vote to waive the reading of the minutes. To participate, please click the chat button and type your full name and township. Do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve the minutes of the 2021 annual meeting? Please click the chat button and type in your full name and township to sponsor this motion. Scott Kay of Grafton moves to accept this motion. Is there a second? Please repeat the process and click the chat button to type your full name and township. Eric N. of Litchfield seconds the motion. A poll to vote on the motion will now appear on your screen. Please select yes or no to submit your vote. According to the poll, we have a majority to approve the motion. I would now like to introduce your current Board of Trustees. I am President John Eaton from Huntington Township, serving District 4 since 1984. Vice President and District 1 Trustee Gary Rowland from Brighton Township, serving since 1978. Secretary Brenda Wolf of Sullivan Township, serving District 7 since 2015. Treasurer Keith Lowe from Homerville and District 8, serving since 1997. Trustee Jim McConnell of Pittsfield Township, serving District 2 since 1997. Trustee Judy Pickworth of LaGrange, serving District 5 since 2006. Trustee Joe Swinkle of Litchfield, serving District 6 since 2018. At this time, I would like to introduce Attorney Heather Niedermeyer-Heyman for the election and voting results.
In this year's election, the membership elected 2 trustees to the board, one from District 6 and one from District 9. The election was conducted by co-op ballot, an independent third-party balloting provider. The petition process nominates candidates for trustees. Any member who wishes to run for trustee from the district in which he or she resides files a petition signed by at least 25 members of the cooperative who also reside in that district. If more than 2 petitions are filed in a district, a runoff election is held by mail within that district, and the 2 individuals receiving the highest number of votes are declared the 2 official candidates who stand for election before the entire membership. Petitions were filed this year by Joe Swinko from District 6 and Rick Dumperth and William Montgomery from District 9. A provision in the Code of Regulations eliminated the requirement for a ballot in an uncontested election and deemed any unopposed candidate elected by the membership. Therefore, Joe Swinko has been deemed elected as our trustee from District 6. For our District 9 contested election, co-op ballot provided each member with a ballot that identified the candidates and also gave the members instructions on how the member could cast their vote. Voting commenced on Wednesday, June 8th, and ballots had to be received by Wednesday, June 29th at 11:59 p.m. in order to be counted. When elections are conducted by mail and electronically, no voting takes place at the annual meeting, and instead the results are announced. Co-op ballot has certified the results to the Cooperative's Election Committee for this year's District 9 election. Co-op ballot has certified that Rick Dumperth received a majority of the votes for trustee and therefore has been certified as our newly elected trustee from District 9. All of our elected trustees will serve 3-year terms on the Board of Trustees. The District 3 seat was also up for election this year. However, no LMRE members residing within that district completed a trustee petition by the required deadline. Following this annual meeting, the remaining board members will begin the process of appointing a qualified member to this empty seat. The cooperative will provide further information about this process and its results in the near future. Congratulations to each of them, and thanks to each of our members who participated in our election process.
I'd like to start by thanking everyone for joining us today at the 86th annual meeting of Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative. Everyone here at the co-op appreciates your attendance and participation in this year's annual meeting. Despite the challenges COVID-19 brought us, I am happy to report that employees have returned to working in the office full-time, and we reopened the lobby to our members again. We cannot thank the co-op staff enough for their continued hard work and dedication to the members daily throughout this ordeal. After continued delays, we celebrated the beginning of the Spencer Industrial Park development with a groundbreaking on Tuesday, June 7th. It is our hope that this is the beginning of what will be the home of a new headquarters building for the cooperative. Anyone that has visited our current building knows that there is a need for a new building. At more than 70 years old, we have run out of space for employees and the resources needed to operate efficiently. One of the things I continue to be most proud of, not only as a board trustee, but also as an LMRE member, is the continued success of the LMRE People Fund. It remains dedicated to giving our members and communities the extra helping hand we all need sometimes. Thanks to the important work of our 9 People Fund board members, who are all volunteers, 13 grants totaling almost $59,000 went to deserving organizations and individuals in our area in 2021. The pennies rounded up on our bills genuinely make a big difference in our communities. I am pleased to report that 85% of LMRE members participate in Operation Roundup and the People Fund. Thank you to everyone for your contributions. Before we move on, I would like to take a moment to recognize the LMRE members who have served on the People Fund board for the past year and devoted their personal time to running this effort. Rick Dumperth, Chair from District 9. Ken Dietrich, Vice Chair, District 3. Jackie Johnson, Secretary, District 4. Pam Menzel, Treasurer, District 1. Rachel Woodrum, District 2. Patricia Hamker, District 5. Patrick Posada, District 6. Christina Jordan, District 7. And Tim White, District 8. As cooperative members, we have the opportunity to participate on a national platform, encouraging legislators to advocate for topics in our best interest. We can do this through our participation in ACRE, the Action Committee for Rural Electrification, which is a federal political action committee of the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. ACRE gives members the opportunity to raise their voices on behalf of the cooperative to state and federal government officials who make decisions that affect our way of life. It is only $25 a year, or $2.08 added to your electric bill each month to join. The money is used to directly support candidates or incumbents who will speak for and protect the interests of electric co-ops. I would encourage all LMRE members to consider adding their voice to this worthy effort. Thank you to everyone who already participates in ACRE to promote the best interests of electric co-ops around the state and country. We have multiple new and exciting things in store for our members this year. A unique opportunity will be available for LMRE members if you are interested in making a difference with your cooperative. You could join the Member Advisory Committee. This committee consists of 9 to 18 total members, 1 or 2 per district, and will meet twice a year to learn about electric issues, receive education about cooperative policy and procedures, and help to inform members at large about services and events related to the operation and management of the co-op. The initial setup of the committee will begin this year and will consist of a phase-in approach to appointment. For more information about the committee and its schedule, don't hesitate to contact your board trustee or the cooperative. Another thing to keep an eye out for is code changes. In the coming year, we will be looking at potential code changes that will be presented to the membership for a vote prior to the 2023 annual meeting. These changes, while not finalized, are part of a regular review process to ensure the code is up to date and protects the co-op and the membership. Thank you again for joining us for this year's annual meeting. Your participation in the governance of Lorraine Medina Rural Electric, your not-for-profit cooperative, is such a huge part of what sets electric co-ops apart in the industry. On behalf of my fellow board members and the employees of LMRE, it is our honor to continue to serve you for another year. At this time, we'd like to share with you an update from Buckeye Power.
Hello, I'm Pat O'Loughlin from Ohio's Electric Cooperatives. In 2021, Ohio's Electric Cooperatives celebrated our 80th anniversary. This year represents a landmark, 80 years of unification of Ohio's 24 electric distribution cooperatives, working together with each other and with your power supplier, Buckeye Power, and our state trade association. By working together over the past 80 years, we've been able to accomplish more things than any individual cooperative could on its own. Together, we've reduced costs, become more resilient, and fostered innovations. Unifying our power supply needs in 1965 under Buckeye Power has allowed Ohio's electric cooperatives to own and operate our own power generation resources. Buckeye Power first invested in coal generation to take advantage of this local resource and its cost advantages. Buckeye Power continues to operate these plants after investing over $1 billion in environmental controls, making our fleet among the cleanest power plants in the world. As natural gas has become more abundant and renewable resources more available, we have grown and diversified our portfolio. To meet your needs during the hottest and coldest days of the year, we've developed both demand reduction strategies and peak period generation facilities. We continue to add renewable energy sources in small increments as opportunities are available and where the project scale fits our needs. These decisions have been made by a board of trustees that has one representative from each of the 24 Ohio electric cooperatives. Their collective decision-making, working in unison with an experienced management team, has allowed Buckeye Power to provide competitive and stable wholesale power costs to the nearly 1 million Ohioans that depend on their electric cooperative for service. Coming together was a huge challenge, and staying together is no less challenging. As the electric utility industry and member expectations evolve, Ohio's electric cooperatives consider many factors and weigh many viewpoints with the goal of preserving an affordable, reliable, and environmentally responsible supply of power for our members. Our team in Columbus works with your management team and other professionals to ensure you are informed about the future of your cooperative and your power supply. You may have noticed in our monthly magazine, Ohio Cooperative Living, that we've doubled down on education and information. Over the past year, not only did your cooperative deliver local news, but we also discussed many important industry issues. We discussed the future of electric vehicles, why we still need coal, the impact of rising transmission costs and grid reliability, safety through distracted driving education, and many stories on how your local cooperative supports your community. In a world where you may have many sources of information, there is no better source of power and information than your local, nonprofit electric cooperative. We'll help keep you informed with Ohio Cooperative Living and the many social media channels your cooperative has provided. Working together on power supply and providing industry news and updates are just the beginning of how the Ohio Electric Cooperative Program shines. Every Ohio cooperative has an ownership interest in the Central Ohio Line Worker Training Program, or COLT. There, we are training the next generation of linemen to work safely and efficiently to keep the lights on. This unified training pays off every day at home and especially during severe storms, allowing us to pull together 40 to 60 linemen from cooperatives across the state to provide assistance to the cooperatives hardest hit by extreme weather events. In the past year, Ohio cooperatives have assisted not only their fellow Ohio cooperatives, but also a Virginia cooperative hard hit by snow and ice this winter. Line workers from more than a dozen cooperatives were able to work together safely and effectively in the most challenging of conditions. Ohio's electric cooperatives remain unified in many other areas, such as economic development, director and workforce development, legislative and government relations, and helping where we can to provide more equitable access to high-speed internet in rural areas. We will always be stronger working together in these areas. Nothing keeps us unified more than our local nonprofit business model and our 4 core values of integrity, accountability, innovation, and commitment to community. All 24 of Ohio's electric cooperatives committed to these values make us a powerful force in your community and throughout the state. Thank you for attending your annual meeting, and thanks for your attention today.
Good evening. My name is Ed Van Hoos, and I am the General Manager for Lorain Medina Rural Electric Cooperative. At this time, we would like to recognize our 2022 Children of Members Scholarship winners. Haley Viscasil of Lake Ridge Academy and Jared Bradford of Black River High School earned our $3,000 scholarships. Jared also earned an additional $1,500 scholarship from our statewide association. Claire Anderson of Midview High School and Hunter Allen of Cloverleaf High School earned our $2,000 scholarships. Corbin Kaminsky and Gunnar Brennick both earned our $1,000 Touchstone Energy Achievement Scholarship. And we encourage all graduating seniors who are children of Lorain Medina Rural Electric members to apply for these scholarships. They are competitive, but also provide great opportunities for graduating seniors to learn about interviewing and presenting themselves professionally. I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you to the board for the opportunity to help serve the membership. Thank you to the employees here who day in and day out provide the highest level of service to our members, and I just can't express my appreciation for them enough. And thank you to my family for giving me the opportunity to come to work every day and supporting me while I do that. And again, thank you to you guys, the members out there. Without you, the co-op wouldn't exist. You are our purpose. You're why we get up and do everything that we do every day. With that, I'd like to talk to you about just a few items. First off, we have some youth programs here, and for the last couple of years, they've been on hiatus due to COVID. In particular, the youth tour to Washington. This year, we saw that was reinstated finally, and kids were actually able to go back to Washington, D.C., and visit with their legislators, as well as learn about the history of our government and our country. And I think that's just so important that LMRE supports that. And then secondly, Youth Day. This is something that we here at LMRE started about 3 years ago. And that is to do the same thing that we do in DC, but also here locally. So we take them to the State House in Columbus and introduce them to their legislators there, and then also teach them about the history of their state. So these programs are very important to our youth, and I'm very happy to see that they have been reinstated for this year and hopefully will continue. I would encourage you, if you have high school juniors or seniors, to have them check into that program and participate. It's a wonderful, one-of-a-kind opportunity that every one of them will certainly enjoy and get a lot out of. We'll talk about next the economic impact of the current state of the economy. And I've already seen a few questions coming in talking about this, and it's just a huge concern to all of us. It doesn't take much like going to the gas station or to the supermarket to learn about higher costs, and worse than that, unavailability of items due to just historically unprecedented supply chain issues. Unfortunately, this isn't going away. And we here at the cooperative are not immune to what is going on in the general markets. Fuel costs are impacting us the same way they would impact any business. It takes a lot to run the trucks that we do to perform the maintenance over the large territory that LMRE encompasses. And then fuel costs stretch not just in our local supply chain here, but also when you think about how fuel generates electricity. The cost of gas and the cost of coal have risen dramatically as other countries look to import, all because of things like shortages from supply chain labor, so there are just not as enough people working anymore, or the war in Russia and Ukraine causing supply chain shortages in the European Union, which has caused some more imports of our coal. All of these things are kind of going together to cause shortages here at home, which then, of course, cause rising prices, and we are feeling that. So that said, unfortunately, the only way that we can operate our business as a not-for-profit is we pass along what it costs to actually run the business. Now again, we're a not-for-profit electric cooperative. So that means that the only thing that we are doing is running the business to the point to where we collect the cost of running the business. Everything else goes back to you in the form of capital credits. But with those rising costs being what they are, that means that we have to take a real hard look at our rate structures and the potential for adjustments to those rate structures in the coming months or perhaps by January of next year. Again, it's a very difficult conversation, like pretty much every conversation is out there right now. We understand what's going on, but at the same time, we know that people struggle even now to pay their bills. And with everything getting more and more expensive, it's a no-win situation for everybody. Again, we're not immune to it either, and the board takes very, very strong consideration for how this will impact the members. So you can be sure that we will be communicating that to you very quickly so that you know what the impact's going to be moving into 2023. I'm going to switch gears just a little bit and talk about solar energy and what's going on out there with that. Now, let me preface this to say that we're not against solar here at LMRE. And in fact, we have solar available, and we're going to have a new Our Solar 2 campaign for those that wish to sign up for solar. It's a community solar model, which means that rather than having to put it on your house and pay for all the costs yourself, it's a shared model, and it's just a small charge on your bill, and then you receive the output from that as an offset to your bill. So it's a pretty good method for doing that. Our not-for-profit model will allow us to help spread those costs amongst everybody and therefore provide a better balanced view of your potential for solar gains. But what's happening in the marketplace right now is unconscionable, in my opinion. You have solar providers out there who are predatory in nature. They will come to your home and they won't leave until you sign a contract. And many times those contracts are predicated upon false information, higher than average forecasts, and promises of gains from the solar that just don't play out for what you're actually going to experience. Now again, this isn't every company that's doing that, but we know for certain that there are at least 2 companies within our service territory that are engaging in these types of practices. We have resources available here at LMRE to help you vet those types of claims when you get them. So call us before you sign any contract. Keep in mind, there's only a 3-day window within Ohio to cancel that contract. So once you sign, that clock starts ticking. And what we are finding is that once you sign, it's very difficult to get them on the phone and verify that the claims they have told you about are actually true. Remember, we're your trusted energy advisor, not-for-profit electric service to you. That means we don't have any ulterior motives with providing you this. Again, we offer solar as an option for you. So call us and let us help you before you sign into some long-term contract that has no possibility of meeting what you've been told it should. I've also received some questions about broadband and where we're at with that. Happy to say that we do have a broadband project in conjunction with Medina County. Now it's just Medina County for right now, and the build-out is happening. But those members in Medina County should see relatively quickly, within the next 6 months to 2 years, the capability to sign on to a high-speed broadband network, fiber-based broadband network, that will help alleviate some of the issues you're having out there. LMRE will not be running this network ourselves. We've done this in partnership with another internet service provider that's already been active in Medina County and have proven themselves to be trustworthy and capable. And we have provided some of our resources. They've gotten some state and federal resources, and the work has already begun. My hope is that after we do the Medina County project, we will be able to expand that throughout Lorain County, where we have been installing fiber already, and therefore be able to move out very quickly. Now, that doesn't cover everybody, obviously, but it does take out a pretty big chunk. and then from there we'll develop even further. So I know it's a little slower than what people want. Obviously, if you have an issue, you want to fix right now. But this is a very long-term, very cash-intensive prospect, and so it does take a little while to get this done. But you should know it is being worked on. And then let's talk about the building project. John kind of already talked to you about the Spencer Industrial Park and the fact that the road out there has had its groundbreaking. That road should be completed this year, and so you will see that there will be a road into the industrial park. Once that's done, it opens up the park for development. And one of the first projects there is going to be the LMRE headquarters. Now we have to take a step back and redesign what we thought about the headquarters. And so we'll be sending out an RFP to interested construction companies and try to get a redesign started this winter so that way we can get through it during the cold months in the hopes that we can figure out a way to break ground next year. This is very exciting to the employees. The building that we currently work in is in need of repair and unfortunately has reached an age to where it simply just isn't economical to keep moving with it. There'll be some increased benefits to members as well. Our increased service levels there. So you'll be able to come in and have a spot where you can be proud that this is your cooperative. We'll be able to have some more economic development because the park itself, we are looking at developing into a multiple business park. And in fact, we already have some very serious interest for others. I think what you're going to see happen is that it's been a long time coming, and then all of a sudden, the park will be full. And that's kind of what we're looking at. So you can look at that over the next 2 to 3 years as a project we'll be focusing on. And hopefully by 2025, we will have completed and be housed there. Again, we have to do a redesign of the headquarters project. And once that's done, then we'll be able to move ahead. And then finally, John talked about a code of regulations changes and that we're looking at that. So I want to kind of tell you the process of how that's going to work. Right now, the board has an internal committee, and we're looking at reviewing and rewriting that code in conjunction with our attorney who you met earlier. Once that review and rewrite is done, we will pass it through the full board for approval in December to present to you guys at the annual meeting next year. The bylaws, and which are another word for code of regulations, haven't been updated in this manner for quite some time. We've done some small adjustments here and there, but this will be a major rewrite. So that means there will be a lot of provisions on the ballot next year. So I wanted to make sure you were aware that that's what's going on. So it's a rewrite that's been a long time coming, and we'll be addressing a lot of small issues and a couple of larger ones as we move ahead. With that, I see that we've had some more questions coming in while I've been talking. So John's going to join me back up here again, and we'll take the questions and answer them. Justice, what do you got? All right, first one, timeline for broadband delivery. I kind of answered that one already, so we'll move past that quickly, but I think you're looking between 2 and 3 years. That's not for everybody. I'm assuming that we'll have some attached before that. It really depends on where you live on the route of where that build-out's happening, how quickly you're going to see that happen. So just look for that. We'll be promoting it. You'll see more information. But the exciting news is it's actively going now. And then a lot of questions about energy shortages. We have Melissa and Charles asking about that. And then I'm sure there's probably more about that. But rolling blackout potentials, I will say we are in what's called PJM's market. And PJM is a regional authority that handles all of the electric dispatch within a certain number of states. And Ohio happens to be in that. PJM doesn't really feel like they're in much danger this summer or this coming winter. However, they are urging caution because of the closure of some of the base load generation that's out there. Our neighbors just to the west of us in what's called MISO, another one of those regional organizations that handles that grid, have issued more than just concerns. They're issuing actually warnings saying that they really are concerned that they don't have enough generation. So maybe some of what you're seeing out there is actually from another entity just one state away from us. but it doesn't mean that we're immune to it. And so this causes me great concern as well. Anytime we get something like that that's kind of out of our control, it does bother me. But you did hear from Pat earlier about what we're doing at Buckeye. And that is we're trying to make sure we maintain our baseload generation so that way we can meet those demands going forward. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that here. It's definitely not something we don't look at, because we do. And we're going to continually always be trying to figure out ways to get around those sort of things. But, you know, it's a tough situation right now, just universally. Some questions about electric cars. And, you know, how is it that we can provide electricity to electric cars and still talk about that we could potentially have some shortages in electricity? Well, this comes into play with when things are charged. So if you have a residential electric charging program, typically those cars are going to be charged overnight. And so we have an electric charger rebate program here that are smart chargers that we can help you pay to get that charger put in place. And then that charger can be programmed to charge in the evening time when it's past those peak times and when actually there's more energy available, because we can run the baseload generation longer periods of time. So the two kind of seem like they interconnect, but when you're talking about residential charging, assuming that you're parking your car at night and then charging it while you sleep, in general, it actually works together pretty well. Okay, so is home solar power worth the initial investment, John? What do you think of that one? Kind of depends, right? Yeah.
Point blank, no.
Yeah.
If you take, they run anywhere from $50,000 to $90,000 for a solar array. Divide that by your monthly electric bill and see how long it's going to take you to pay it off.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what John's talking about is some of the pricing we're seeing. And actually, we just hit an all-time high. $118,000 for a solar array. That's what one of these companies is proposing to one of our members. That is a very difficult thing to pin out. As we looked at it on the energy costs and what you could expect at return on that, it was more than 50 years for a system that's really estimated to last 20 to 25 years. So this is what I'm talking about, those predatory solar agencies that are out there that are visiting, you know, door to door and trying to sell you on these things. Again, they're not all like that. Don't get me wrong. There are some out there that are legitimate. But I would encourage you to vet that through us, because we can take what they have forecasted to you and give you a common sense view of what that actually means. So that way you can make a really good decision moving ahead. And again, we're not against you going solar. If that's what you feel like you want to do, great. What we are against is you getting taken advantage of. And we want to be that trusted energy advisor to try and help you with that. Okay? Let's see. All right, so reliability and availability. So there is a question that kind of borders on a specific account here, talking about basically why do we have to pay the fixed charge every month to have the service, even if like you live half the year here and half the year somewhere else. So say you're going to Florida, right? Well, the reason why that is because we don't take the cost of what it actually is to provide you electric service and charge you that entire year's amount on only the months that you're there. Instead, it's divided up over the entire 12-month period. So another alternative billing method would be that while you're gone for those 4 to 6 months, we turn everything off from then and you don't get any bill. But then when you're back, the total cost of keeping that service there the whole time would still be there for us, because we can't just fire our employees while you're in Florida and then hire them all back again. And we can't remove all the lines while they're gone and then put it all back again. So it's all still going to be there. So that fixed cost is still always going to be there. And so because of that, we take it, we divide it up by 12 months of the year, and then that's what's charged on an annual basis. Again, it plays back to reliability. So you got to have some kind of method of keeping electric on all the time, and we can't just have it on part of the time. You got more, Justice? Okay, we'll take just a couple more. Let's see. What will happen to the current LMRE property once moved? What do you think? We're still kind of talking about that and trying to figure out what to do. This building, obviously, really doesn't hold a lot of value, and I'm not sure that anyone could get financed in this building as it is. It needs a lot of repair. But there may be some benefit to some of the outbuildings and things like that. What do you think, John?
Well, we have to maintain the property because we have a substation here and a solar field.
Yep.
But possibly you could rent out some of the garage storage and the Quonset hut out here. There's some value to it. Maybe we'll use it for extra storage.
Yeah.
Depends on what comes in the future.
Yep. And there's a lot of stuff on the table right now. We may sell a part of the property, but we always are going to have that easement and access to that substation and solar field because obviously we own those and we couldn't sell that off. But the property itself, I think that's still being decided. So we got some work to do there. What other green energy are you investigating? We have right now at Buckeye, who is our generation and transmission cooperative, what's called an all power requirements contract. So everything that we get power-wise comes from them. And then we pay a power bill to them. So that's kind of how your bill works. So we get billed from them, we divide it up amongst you guys, and we send it back to them, and that's how we get our power. And it doesn't matter the source of that. It all comes from them. So even the utility scale solar that we have here is actually owned by them, and then they sell the power out to us, and then we split that up to you guys. So other green energy sources, they do have some wind in their contract. I believe there's even a little bit of nuclear there. So it's an all-of-the-above approach when it comes to energy for an electric cooperative. We do what makes sense for the membership. We try to keep costs as low as possible. Obviously, I talked about market conditions being what they are right now, but it is what it is on that, and we're just trying to do everything we can to have a common sense approach to this. What broadband company is LMRE working with? It's a company called Lit Communications, and I think they're branding it Lit Fiber here in our territory. They're the company that worked with Medina County Fiber and brought that Medina County Fiber network through that smaller area, and now they're going to be expanding throughout our entire service territory. So, well, the Medina part of our service territory. The negotiation we have with them basically says they will not skip anyone. And this is crucial because in the past, when a provider would come through our territory, they would skip members. If you lived somewhere that it was going to be very costly for them to get to, then they would just not go down your road. And I know there are many of you out there who know this because you've told me about it. Our agreement with them is they won't do that. And so you will have the option, if you are on LMRE lines and living in Medina County, to have fiber broadband service, regardless of where you live in Medina County. And that's super important because no one gets left out. And that's what a co-op's about. Let's see, anything else, Justice? All right. There was a couple other small questions here and there, and some of them specific to accounts. We'll get back to you guys offline on those kind of things, but thank you all very much, and I appreciate the time that you've spent with us this evening and the ability to get to talk to you. So have a good evening, and I'll turn it back to John to conclude the meeting.
Thank you, Ed. At this time, do we have any unfinished business to come before the membership? Do we have any new business to come before the membership? Seeing none, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you for attending this year's annual meeting. Stay healthy and safe, and we hope to see you soon.